What is up, everybody? Yeah, that's right. We're switching it up. We're going from the video diary series over to Big D Gets Big, getting ready for my first bodybuilding show. And the first episode, we're going to be talking about how I went from this right here on the right to this in under a year. Let's get to it. All right. What is up, everybody? Coach D, Devontae. That's right. We're here. And today I just want to talk about how I went from this picture when I started working with my coach again, just under a year ago, 47 weeks ago, 48 weeks ago, technically, because this is week 2. From this photo, looking like a bag of doo-doo. No, I'm playing. Can't talk about yourself like that. But for me, it was like something when I looked in the mirror, I just didn't like that I lost all my muscle mass. And why did I end up here? Well, I gotta take you back a little bit. Check this out. So, I'm gonna put a disclaimer on this. If you don't like gnarly stuff, people getting hurt, and you don't like feet things, foot things, fast forward a little bit here. I'll timestamp it. I'll try my best to remember to timestamp it. But just know, I'm going to show something here. It's me getting hurt. I'm going to show you the repercussions of that, and then I'm going to talk through it and lead you into why I looked the way I did in that week 2 picture. So, I mean, needless to say, I didn't look terrible, right? Like, I was definitely still in shape to some degree. I was exercising, doing mobility. I was very mobile at that point in my life. But here's the thing. Here's what happened to good old me skateboarding. Hey, here we go. My ankle hurts. My ankle legit hurts now. Well, that's what happened. And the repercussions of that was this. I've never seen my foot turn so purple in my life. So I went to the hospital that night. I got hurt. My mom's picked me up. Shout out to you, Mom. I know you're probably watching this. I love you. Thank you for always picking me up and getting me to the hospital when I was hurt. I cannot imagine that life now that I have kids. Thank you. So my mom picks me up. We go there. My mom has never seen me in this much pain. Mind you, I've cracked a vertebrae in my neck. I've cracked my kneecap before. I've broken both my wrists. I've gotten hurt skateboarding. Yes, I had a vitamin D deficiency. There's other things going into it if you want to ask the questions. But nutrition stuff was a big thing. Sleep, big thing. But they told me when I got there, they're like, hey, you know what? We think it's about like a grade 3 sprain. I'm like, bro, I noticed stuff. I'm like, grade 3? That's not even tearing anything. And like, for me, like I said, I've broken my ankles before. I've sprained stuff before. I've gotten grade 3 sprains. Like, I know what that feels like. This was nowhere near that. So then I leave the hospital and I'm like crying. Like, I don't cry from pain just because of how much I got hurt. I'm not saying it's not okay to cry when you're hurt, but when you get hurt so much, you start to just get used to it. So this was an experience that I have not experienced in a long time. And I was like, oh my God, like what the hell? So I decided, you know what? I probably should get a second opinion. I went to my homies out at Twin Cities Orthopedics. Shout out to them. If you're here in Minnesota and you need orthopedic care, I would check them out, see if your insurance takes them. I've always gotten amazing care from them. So I love them. They do great things. Now, they got me right, because guess what they did? They took some MRIs. They did what they needed to do. And we found out I had torn multiple ligaments and ripped bone straight off. So that led me to here. My first surgery low key. Oh no, second. Sorry. Skirt. So this is the thing. And this kind of leads into the week 2 thing. And this goes into my tips I'm going to give at the end of the video, so stick around. But for me, growing up as a young skater, like there were so many things I was doing not optimally, I'll say. I don't like the word optimally, but I definitely could have done things a little damn better. That's for sure. And all my friends were like, oh, why do you get hurt so much? Why do you get hurt so much? This and that. And like, I did have a vitamin D deficiency growing up that I didn't know about. So I was about 12, 13. Mom, correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, before that, I believe it was that. And then after that, it was just lifestyle things, right? And I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but it was just the choices I was making, the things I was doing. And I didn't know any better. I was a young kid. Like, I was just out there getting it. And my mom was working 2 jobs and like having to provide. So I was just skating. I was just skating and learning at school. And for me, nothing else mattered besides skating. And yeah, that probably led me to getting hurt a lot more than I needed to, because I wouldn't take breaks, and there's a lot that goes into that. So pretty much what I'm trying to get at here is I went through this, right? Not only did I go through that, I then, let me get some water. I go through that surgery. I recover a lot faster than they thought, right? Because, you know, your boy Coach D over here, I went and put in some extra work, right? So like, I talked to my doctor, me and my doctor talked, and I was like, hey, I've been a coach for 6 years at this point, and I was like, hey, like, I know this, and this. We're talking about biomechanics. We're talking about, okay, I understand. Obviously, at this point in time, it's just rest, right? But as I was getting into the recovery process and we were talking about things, the metal stayed in, right? So as I'm recovering, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going through all this stuff. I'm doing all the physical therapy. I'm doing all the stuff at home. I started getting back into a training routine that I went through with my doctor. I was like, hey, how does this sound? I wrote this out. He's like, oh, this is perfect. Let's get you doing that along with your physical therapist. Just checked with him. Everything was a go. I started recovering. 4 months later, I'm skating again. Sorry, 5. Like I was cruising at 4 months, but like actually doing tricks at about 5 months. Pretty damn crazy. Now, what happened next? Well, your boy, I don't know if you can see it. If I pull my head, you can. So you see that scar right on my hand right there? So, can't really see the one that's in the wedge of my hand either, but I was opening something. A big old thing of lube. Not what you think. No, it was for a treadmill. So I was putting together a treadmill for the family, and I was in a rush, and the dang thing wasn't opening. I tried to cut it with the scissors. I tried everything I could, and then I took a good old knife, and I was like, stabbed myself in the wedge of my hand between my thumb and my pointer finger. Let go of the knife. It was still there. I took it out. Blood was just all over the place in the kitchen. I yelled down the stairs to JoJo. I'm like, babe, I stabbed myself. And she comes, I'm like, there's blood everywhere. She comes running up the stairs. She's like, oh my God. She grabs me a towel. And then poor Arlo, my oldest son, he runs up the stairs. He sees all the blood and he's like, Dad, no. He thought I was going to die. It was okay. We're all good. He was a trooper. He cleaned up the blood all by himself. Like JoJo told him not to. And he just started grabbing a rag and like trying to help. My grandma came over, shows me to the hospital, get to the hospital, get stitches, so on and so forth. I go home. I go in for a checkup on my ankle. Mind you, I'm still dealing with the ankle stuff. I go for a checkup. And my doctor's like, you know you have a fever. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel too good. So what happened to your hand? He's like, I see you're in the hospital. I'm like, yeah, this and this happened. He's like, I think you need to go get seen again. I'm like, why? He's like, you just don't look good. I'm like, okay. So he sends me to a hospital that he hadn't home yet. I go there. They check me in. I wait forever to get into the waiting room. It's like 7, 8 p.m. at this point. So I get in, texting JoJo, calling her, talking to the boys, saying goodnight, all that stuff. And then, out of nowhere, I go to sleep, chilling. I get woke up. They're like, hey, it's 4 a.m. I'm like, what's up? They're like, we got to get you to surgery now. I'm like, what? I just went through a surgery like 5 months ago, bro. What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, we got to get you into surgery. I'm like, all right, why? You have a staph infection that is going to be spreading. And if we don't go in there and clean it out, we're going to have issues. I'm like, oh, sick. So they rushed me in. They had to cut my hand open there. They had to cut my hand open here. And they had to cut my wrist open here. And they actually had to go in and clean. Oh, my stuff's hurting again. They went in and cleaned out all the tendons and ligaments and like had to get up in there and clean everything. So then I wake up from that surgery and I just had this huge cast on my hand. And then I'm busted up in the ankle still, like kind of just like bumming there. I'm feeling a little bit better because, I was skating, but I was putting a lot of stress on it. And I think like all this stress from this was just boom. And then I recover that, go through physical therapy. Physical therapy for the hand is like low-key pretty intensive. Like doing all these grip things and all that. I lost so much grip strength. It was insane. I still have like an issue like getting this finger to go down if I don't focus on it. But needless to say, I went through a lot. And then one last thing, I went through another surgery, right? So then the ankle started tweaking again and my body wasn't responding well to the metal. So he's like, hey man, like this usually doesn't happen, but I think we should go back in there, take the metal out, and I think you're gonna be a lot better off. Because the way my ankle works and just the space in between my tibia and my fibia, when you go through what's called gait cycles, so like when you're walking, and like think of you walk, you go from heel to toe. Right. Well, when that happens, the bones in your shin actually slightly, just a very little bit rotate. Well, if you have two metal rods that are in your ankle and those things are rotating, or your bones are trying to rotate, but there's not a lot of space and things are tight, that's where I was getting all that tension pulling. Think about skateboarding, any sport, anything where I'm trying to move quick. Like that's anytime I felt it. So at that point, I was like, all right, cool. 3 surgeries under a year. Let's go. That leads me to week 2. Boom. Right here. It sucked. It really sucked. It was hard. Shout out to JoJo because she held it down for that year. Like, I mean, she holds it down every day, but like that was a whole nother level. And I thank you, baby. Like that was a hard time for both of us. I know that. And it was not easy. But then, boom, this was me. This was me at the end of all that. I looked at myself and I was like, you know what? I've been through a lot this year. I know that like I didn't put in a whole bunch of work in the gym. There really wasn't a lot I could do because it went from like not being able to train lower body. So then I was just doing like some upper body stuff, just chilling. Never really trained upper body to like try to build mass or anything. It was more like when I was younger in the military, I guess it was. But after that, it was all about like just performance, just skateboarding, all that stuff. Trying to be just mobile and being able to use my body in different ways. And that led me to this, right? So like if I go through these photos, you can see like I lost a lot of muscle mass. I had more than this before I had gotten injured, but it was a year of surgeries, just sitting down, recovering, sitting down, recovering, sitting down, recovering. And I was not eating at all, like at all. It was bad. It was really bad. Like I was in the state of, I would say depression probably for like the first time in my life. Maybe besides when my grandpa had passed away when I was 16, but I was down bad mentally. I just didn't want to eat. I knew I needed to, but I just didn't want to. The things I would eat were just BS. And so that's kind of the results I got. Right. But I wasn't like, oh, like, you idiot, why are you here? This and that. But I was like, dude, you got to put in some work. So then I hired my coach back. Shout out to Coach Bax. He's the man. He works with me. I know I'm not the easiest person to work with because I got a lot going on. I live in my head a lot and I tend to try to change things up a lot for no reason. But he keeps me on the right path. And that is why 47 weeks later, less than a year, we're chilling right here. And I'll make sure too, I'll pull some stats from my scale. So like I know like those scales with the electro impedance and stuff, they're not the most accurate. But if you do things very consistently, it's at least a trend that you can watch. So I've been doing stuff consistently for over these last 47 weeks. And you can see the weight I went from, how much weight I gained, the little bit of fat that I gained over that amount of time, and the amount of muscle mass that I gained over that amount of time. So It's pretty cool to see, especially when you click back and forth between these two pictures. I mean, I just see two different humans, just even in my face. Like, it's crazy. It is crazy what this stuff does for you. Like, fuck the whole muscle mass and all that other stuff. Probably have to bleep that out. Nah, we good. It's the only one. But I'm just happier. Like, I'm happier. I'm living a better life. I feel like I am a better husband, a better father, because of what training does for me, the carryover from that, right? It's insane to me what that does, because there's just discipline behind it. There's been a lot of discipline put in over the last 47 weeks, and, I realized those weeks when it wasn't put in and the results that I was getting. And then when I do have the discipline, I'm putting it in, I'm like, okay, cool. And it doesn't have to be the craziest amount. Like, I still enjoy myself. I still go out with JoJo. We still go out and eat twice a week. Like, that's something that we love to do. But a big thing for me was, like, I think my body wanted to be here. Like, after this, like, I was already pushing myself so hard before these surgeries, and I never looked like this. And I think my body was like, dude, you need to feel yourself. And, like, the biggest thing for me was sleep, right? Like, I just was not sleeping at all, anything like that. I think I was getting average of like 4.5, 5 hours of sleep. Like, it was bad during that surgery time. And then, so that was priority number one. Like, let's get up to 6 hours. And I'm still struggling here between like 6.5 to 7 hours. I'm trying my best to get from 7 to 8, working our way there. But that's what I want to explain to you all, is like, hey, things take time. It's okay. Now, when I think about that, I'm like, okay, what was the next step? It was just refueling my body. At this point in time, I was only averaging like 2,300 calories like daily. And that was if I like ate. Now, it's sitting about 3,000 to 3,200 calories. So it's a significant difference. Now, it took time to get there. Like I said, 47 weeks. It took a long time. It was a slow, gradual approach. And I shout out my coach again for that, because he knew, okay, Raj's going to ramp things up. I was like, I thought we could. I told him, like, let's do it. We ramped it up. He's like, let's pull it back. It was just too stressful, this and that, a whole bunch of other things. And so a big thing for me is just realizing, like, there's these certain things I can put my focus into, kind of not worry about all the rest of the nuances, and results do come, and they're pretty amazing. I'm going to click through this real quick just so you can see some flexing photos, the real muscle mass and stuff. It's just a day and night difference between this person here and this person here. But like I said, I mean, the photos alone, yes, but the feeling I have, the person I am, like the man I feel like I've become over this last 47 weeks, that's key. Like, look at that. Oh wait, where'd it go? Where's the back picture? Look at that. Boom. Shout out backs. We coming. And that's why I decided, you know what? I think I got my body to a point of like, okay, hey man, this is where I wanted to be. And now I have a job that like I'm really enjoying. I have some career path stuff in front of me that I'm really enjoying. The life's amazing. And I think it's time to kind of hit the go switch on something for me. I think as parents, it's really important that we have something that we want for ourselves. And me being an athlete, having that physical pursuit is fun for me. It's something that is important for me. It helps me in other aspects of my life. So, take some water. Hence the bodybuilding thing. Skateboarding, I love it. You're always going to be there for me. I'm going to keep skating till the day I die. I'm tired of getting damn hurt. That last injury thing really just made it hard. I was like at a point where I was like, dude, I just don't ever want to be not able to play with my kids again. Like that was so hard. Like that was so hard. Like they were asking me constantly, Dad, can we play? And I really couldn't do anything. Even when I had the boot off and stuff, I couldn't run. It was so frustrating. So I don't really ever want to be back there. And then I was like, okay, well, I think I'm going to do some type of strongman, some type of powerlifting thing. which would be cool. And I think I'm still going to do that. I actually know I will do that at some point. But me and my coach had a good talk. And I think one of the best things for me right now that I could do is just keep going the route I'm going. I've refueled my body. So now it's like, let's see. I want to see like how jacked can I get? Like, let's see how jacked I can get. So that's going to be the goal for the rest of this year, leading into next year. I'll give you all more details as we talk about like show dates, more of a plan. But that's kind of the plan for now. So I think I'm going to do a couple of these. I'll go back to like the video diaries. I'll do a couple of these, kind of flip flop between the two things. But yeah, this has been a fun one for me. If you've stuck around and watched this for 21 minutes, I appreciate you. But it's time for me to share my biggest tips, right? So here are my biggest tips. Now, I do want to show you some, just so you can get some insight into just my lifting and everything. So progress, it comes in waves, right? And you can't expect to progress all the time. But one thing you can do is just try to take the slower approach, right? So what I'm saying is when I do this with my training, one thing that's helped me get here is just having the weight I use, the sets and reps, right? So let's say I have 2 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Well, I try to pick a weight that I know 8 reps is going to be really, really hard for, and I start there. Now my goal week to week is to keep that weight and to try to get to the top end. Or I do the reverse, where it's like, okay, where is my top here? Like, where is the weight that I can choose that I can do the most amount of reps? Where can I hit 12 reps and then hit failure? Okay, cool. Now I know that leading week I could go up. But I just always kind of knew from lifting, okay, I probably get 8 reps at this, start there, and then I'll build upon that. Once I reach the top end of those reps, so I started at 8, maybe the next week I got 9, maybe the next week I stalled, I got 9.5, that next week I got 10, and then all of a sudden I got 12. Right? Oh, boom. Now I know, time to go up a weight. And that's just what I've done consistently with all my lifts. Throughout this, me and my coach are going to talk about it a little bit more, but it is something that, something that I've enjoyed, and I think has definitely helped me progress in the way that I've liked to see. So I just want to show you this real quick. So this was week 2 or 3. We got 115 on each side. Again, I believe 627. Right? And I go forward a little bit into week 5. So I think I did try to press 3 plates this week. Yeah, I did. I tried to press 3 plates. I think I got a couple reps in, right? Which was a jump up. But I had hit the top end of these. It was 5 to 8 reps. It was week 4 that I hit 8 reps with the 115. I was like, yeah, nope. I'm gonna call it there. I think I re-rack and we go back for it. Oh yeah, this is wait. And that's how it goes, right? So for me, it's just been tracking my weights, tracking the reps, and recording myself, right? So like there, I was watching that, and I'm like, oh, I left a couple reps in the tank that I thought I had gotten. So now that brings me aware to this week when I go train with my week 6, like be very diligent with that, with my numbers, make sure that I'm counting correctly. And yeah, but the biggest thing is, hey, get in there, get a solid training plan for you, for your goals. And here's some tips. My biggest tips that have gotten me to where I've gotten to, at least so far. I'll let you know more when I get to the actual stage and stuff. This isn't really tips on bodybuilding. It's just if you're trying to rebuild your body, you're trying to get back to a baseline, what I would do is I would put your focus into sleep, right? As I was saying at the beginning, I believe I was getting injured so much when I was younger because 6 hours or less of sleep can leave you at more risk of injury or illness. I'm not the dude to pull up all the sciencey studies and stuff like that. But I actually know there have been more recent ones done that do indicate that if you consistently string 6 hours of sleep together, you are at a greater risk of injury or illness. Another thing is eat your food. Big thing for me was like, I gotta get food in and keep it as clean as possible, right? I get that in today's world, there's a lot of different options out there, but I try to just go for the whole food, minimally processed food as much as possible. And for me, my body was in a state of just needing that food. And that's what I was saying. Like, I think this last 47 weeks has been like, hey, thank you. Now let's get it. Like, my body's like, okay, cool. This is where I need it to be. Let's see what we can do. The relationships around you. I was saying in the beginning, like, I love the carryover from this because I feel like it makes me a better father, a better husband, mainly because the discipline it takes for me to, or just the things I know I need to do, like I need to be prepared. I need to plan things out a little bit better, right? I need to do these certain things to make my training happen. When I'm in that mind frame, it then carries over to the rest of my life because I'm like, okay, cool. Plan this out for the family. I'm going to make sure this is done so this can happen. I'm going to do this before this so then I can do this with the family. So all these things are getting put into place, and I've just noticed that over the last 47 weeks. And then don't forget fun. I've gotten back into skateboarding. I always go out with the kids. I'll just go run around. I mean, I play like a kid, and I think some adults are way too damn serious all the damn time. Like, have some fun, joke around, like, just remember what it was like to be a kid. Like, I don't know, that's just something that I love to do personally. I'm not saying you have to do it, but whatever your fun is, like, don't forget about that, because if you just dive into here, it's all you engulf yourself with, like, I feel like the results just don't feel as rewarding, because I've been there before where I was so focused on skateboarding results, and this and that, and like nothing else around me, and I would kind of get to where I wanted to skating or do the tricks and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, cool. It wasn't a very good feeling. So that's my video for today. Holy crap, it turned into a 30-minute video. I did not mean to do that. I'm gonna keep it much shorter next time. Maybe next time we'll just take you guys to the gym. We'll do a training session together, and I'll break it down via talking. So, all right, guys, I appreciate anybody who stuck around for this long. This is Big D, and I'm out.